The Chainsaw Man Reze arc movie is one of the absolute best films of 2025, and not only do I think it's better than Demon Slayer Infinity Castle Part 1, but it is definitely my favorite anime film to come out this year, and honestly I'm comfortable with saying that's one of my favorite anime films entirely. Now before I glaze the living crap out of this more, I just want to point out I came in as someone who read all of Part 1 and didn't watch the anime adaptation. This movie is my first real exposure to seeing Chainsaw Man be adapted, and it's been a few years since the last time I even read any chapters, so it's not like I remember everything since then. But one aspect that I love about this movie is that it did a damn good job at making me remember why Chainsaw Man was one of my favorite mangas to read. Seeing fun characters like Denji, Beam, and Power, well, at least a few times she was on screen, seeing the dynamics between Aki with Angel, Denji and Makima, and of course Reze, which is the main part of this movie, was so engaging and entertaining, even as someone who can't even remember which arcs happened before this except the origin. The writing and interactions of all of these characters are fun yet twisted, making you feel bad for the protagonist in a natural way, and there were so many moments with these characters that are memorable either because it was funny, tragic, exciting, or just full of deep emotions. I cared for every single character in this film just as I did with the manga. A lot of the moments in this movie are the same as I remember them from a few years ago, and honestly I'd be shocked if there are any big changes because I got plenty of manga panel flashbacks while watching it in the theater. One small thing I need to point out though, this movie is not censored, both of the action, which I'll talk about after this, and the fan service. Listen, if you know Fujimoto, you know it'll be bad. I get why some of the crazy stuff is in this movie because most of the time it's Denji's imagination, but it pushes boundaries where it can make you uncomfortable. Do not take your kids to this movie, and I hope some of you realize that some of these characters are, kids. I'm serious when I say that, because when Denji said his age in the movie, someone in my theater literally said, "He's 16?" The action, my goodness, was it incredible. If you're an anime only or just watching out of curiosity without seeing or reading anything, it will take a while to get to the fights, but once it arrives, it's exactly what you want from a crazy series like this. The choreography was so good, it reminded me of those imaginary epic fights that I've had in my head while listening to rock music. The fights are full of expression, the soundtrack adds on to the hype, the characters do so many cool and creative attacks, and the animation just goes buck wild with the movement and visuals. In a lot of ways, it reminded me of Naruto vs. Pain and Shippuden with the liquid smooth frames and the super fast cinematography that makes you wonder what the hell is even happening on screen, but in a good way. So for manga readers, the fights in this movie are gonna outdo your imagination, or at the very least be on par with it. I'm dead serious. If I had one criticism, I think there were way too many visual representations and metaphors during some scenes, specifically in the same section where most people got their pants wet while watching. Correct me if I'm wrong here. I'm pretty sure as an audience, you're not supposed to know things go bad at that certain part until it actually happens, and then you come to realize what the metaphor was referring to, but it gets to a point where it shows that illustration way too many times, and I think most viewers will already know by that point what will happen before the big moment during that section, so I don't know. Again, correct me if I'm wrong, that could just be me already knowing beforehand or just misremembering how the manga did it. Anyways, there's not really any other aspects I could think of that are bad about this movie. In general, the Reze arc film, along with Dragon Ball Super Broly and Jujutsu Kaisen 0, is exactly what I want other canon anime films to be like. And what I mean is take an arc that could actually work as a good movie that both fans and newcomers could enjoy, and not just force arcs that don't fit like Demon Slayer Infinity Castle did. While I enjoyed that movie a lot, I gave it an 8 out of 10. My biggest issue was that it felt way too repetitive as a movie. Meeting villain flashback fight, meeting villain flashback fight. It was way more annoying to watch in one sitting compared to seeing it in episode form. The fights were incredible and the story moments were great, but the way it's formatted as a movie is not good. It's repetitive, rushed, formulaic, and clearly would have been better to watch in parts. Chainsaw Man along with Dragon Ball and Jujutsu Kaisen work because they are small arcs that could be made into a normal movie plot. No repetitive anime antics like a tournament or a war arc, just natural progression with a beginning, middle, and end. A normal story that anyone could follow without getting tiring. The Reze arc took advantage of the movie format and made made it worth seeing. Even though I don't remember everything from the manga, the Reze arc to this day was one of the few arcs that I did remember fondly because I read it within one sitting years back and I was super invested. This movie didn't just remind me how great it is, but it also reminded me why I have all of part 1 physically. It reminded me why I kept buying volumes as they came out. It reminded me why I love this series and its amazing flair. So I give Chainsaw Man Reze arc movie a 9 out of 10. It's definitely a must-see. Go out and see it in theaters. You won't regret it. That is all for this review. If you enjoyed this video, please drop a like and subscribe. I got a big Sonic Racing Crossroads review coming soon that I'm working way too hard to finish, and I think you'll love it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.